You're not leaving yet. Objection! You're mine! Dragon first!
3, 2, 1.
Author Mark Twain once said that there are two certainties in life, those being death and taxes. Others think that there are three certainties, those being life, death, and taxes. But dear viewer, I'm here to say that there are actually four certainties in life, those being, of course, life, death, taxes, and the fact that in every Persona game, a man with a long nose by the name of Igor will invite me to something called a velvet room. And as risque and as cool as a velvet room sounds, I promise you, dear viewer, it is anything but a good time. Scrolling through menus? That sounds great! Music that'll put you to sleep faster than chugging a whole bottle of NyQuil? You got it here. Fusing demons together by means of multiple torture methods in order to create stronger and more powerful demons? Okay, maybe that last part does sound a bit cool and a bit fun. But before we get on to the actual Velvet Room, where does the name Velvet Room come from? Well, dear viewer, you are in luck when you ask me that question because I have the answer for you. The answer is, well, of course, it comes from Edgar Allan Poe. Well, of course, it comes from Edgar Allan Poe's Mask of the Red Death. What a cheery story. I mean, just look at how these two dress. They were practically made for each other. Now, what is a persona, you may be asking? Whenever I have to explain what a persona is to someone, I usually tell them that it's like a stand from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And when they hear me speak the words JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, they usually start running away from me full sprint. I wonder why that is. Let's take a look back in time for a bit. It's the year 1996, a year where people were happy. Super Mario RPG was out for the NES, Shawn Michaels has won his first Royal Rumble, and Dragon Ball GT was on the air, and, it happened. And a game company known as Atlas releases a spin-off game for one of their successful RPG franchises known as Shin Megami Tensei. This spin-off game was titled Megami Ibunroku Persona, and is the first title in a long but loosely connected series known as Persona. At the moment of recording this, there are about 6 mainline Persona games, while in total there are about 21 Persona games. Those 21 games include your basic JRPGs, a couple of puzzle games, 1 or 2 traditional fighting games, and a couple of dancing games as well. And within most of those games, there's a place that is always present, that being the Velvet Room. Now, the Velvet Room has always had the same purpose, which is fusing personas together to make them stronger by smashing them together like action figures or like Rock'em Sock'em robots. Other methods besides smashing them together include, Igor using a telephone to listen to a sad story that makes the persona manifest. That makes sense. The Velvet Room has changed how it looks over the past 20 some odd years of its existence. In the first Persona game, it was just a regular old circle room covered in some blue carpet, maybe some blue curtains. Honestly, it was kinda dull if you ask me. But in the next game, Persona 2, it adds a bit more life to the room and onwards. The Velvet Room manifests itself into different forms based on how the main character views their inner self, as well as their fate. Persona 3 takes that boring old circle room and that dusty old carpet that you'd probably find at the thrift store or something like that, and just throws it out the window. Persona 3's Velvet Room is this huge Tower of Terror-like elevator. Can I say Tower of Terror? Let's keep going with it. Persona 3's Velvet Room is this huge Tower of Terror-like elevator that is continuously ascending, reflecting the game's narrative of the main character wanting to become a savior. Persona 4's Velvet Room is a decked-out, fancy limo endlessly driving through a thick fog based on how the main character and his little ragtag group tries to solve a murder mystery. I'm not going to go into any spoilers here, but you should probably play the game. It's a good game. Music's pretty good. While in the most recent mainline game, not counting Persona 5 Scramble, Persona 5 Velvet Room, as well as Persona 5 Royale, the Velvet Room there is a jail cell representing how society will shackle you down and how adults are evil and bad people and there are no such thing as good adults. Starting to sound like my English college professor over here. Oh no. How could I make a Velvet Room video without talking about one of the main features of the Velvet Room? You know, the assistants. They're kind of there too. In Persona 1, the only people in the Velvet Room, besides Igor, are Belladonna and Nameless. While in Persona 2, they get a new friend by the name Demon Painter. Now, moving on to Persona 3, Belladonna, Nameless, and the Demon Painter are all gone, Where'd they go? I don't know, man. Don't ask me. I'm just a funny man on the internet. While Belladonna, Nameless, and the Demon Painter are all gone, they're replaced with either Theodore or Elizabeth, whose gender changes depending on what gender the main character is. In Persona 4, the only assistant is this giant woman who looks like a walking boombox known as Margaret, while in Persona 4 Golden, the game's enhanced version, Igor gains a new assistant alongside Margaret known as Marie. Marie's purpose is to store the player's skill cards that they don't want and will resell them to you if you decide that you want them at a later point. On to the latest mainline Persona game, that being Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal. Now, it's no secret that I like Persona 5. It shows up in the video intro twice, and I could honestly just go on and on about maybe an entire video about how I like Persona 5 and what it's done to me, how it shaped me. But that's going to be saved for a later time and a later video too. But anyways, in Persona 5, Igor has two assistants this time by the name of Caroline and Justine, and nobody else. Nothing else happens. Don't ask. Nothing else happens. Not a single thing. Don't know. Do not look. Do not see. Close your eyes. Nothing happens. These two kids in costumes that they bought from Halloween Spirit with their mom's credit card are just waiting around every corner just to jump you and throw you into jail for a bit. When it comes to fusing personas, the process was relatively unchanged for the majority of the series until it came to Persona 5. In the other Persona games, fusion was based around tarot cards and fusing those together either by basic Persona fusion or by a triad fusion method, and by matching the persona's class, what their arcane is, all that fancy stuff that no, you're not going to get that here. Unlike Persona 1 Fusion, where Igor would hear a sad story and cry a lot, in Persona 2, Fusion is replaced by summoning. What's the difference? There's no difference. It's just a name change. It does the exact same thing. It's just a name change. In Persona 2, Fusion is now replaced by summoning, which the player needs a certain number of tarot cards that they need to summon the persona. Up until Persona 4 Golden, the player couldn't control what skills they wanted. It was all just random, what skills they got that the Fusion persona got. In Persona 4 Golden, though, however, the player now gets to choose what skills they want to inherit, unless it's like a persona-specific move like Alice's Die or Me. In Persona 5, however, Igor takes the backseat when it comes to summoning the personas. He takes a well-needed vacation and leaves the hard work to Caroline and Justine. Unlike the previous games where it was just a fancy light show and Igor flipping over some tarot cards or once again crying or playing solitaire, whatever he likes to do, these two mini jail wardens know no bounds when it comes to fusing personas, whether it be the Iron Maiden or comically large guillotine, just to name a few. In Persona 5, it introduces a new type of, fusion you could call it, the electric chair. In the electric chair, you can pretty much put whatever persona you want in there. It could be your super strong, super duper ultra Arsene. It could even be a slime. I don't know what you like to play. You can put any persona you want in the electric chair, and putting that persona in the electric chair turns that persona into an item that you could use later down the road, whether it be a skill card or character-specific items such as Arcane's Cane. You may be asking yourself, what about Persona 3? Or you may be not. I don't know what you're thinking. Well, for Persona 3, you have